UGC has become a local talk in the last few days, igniting a discussion between me and a student just yesterday. And I see there are too many gaps in the common knowledge of this bill, especially because the wannabe political influencers haven't given a fair treatment to this. So, without any opinions, here are the five important things about the UGC 2026 and why it might be revolutionary. Starting from the purpose, the UGC 2026 is specifically designed to eradicate discrimination in the universities for everyone, regardless of whether the discrimination is potentially based on religion, race, gender, place of birth, caste, or disability, thereby protecting the individuals. But it particularly and in fact gives more emphasis to SC, ST, EWS, disabled, or socially and economically marginalized people. Unlike what the majority of the internet users believe, this bill does not exclude the general category. This bill in itself cannot be put to rest as the UGC data reveals that the caste discrimination complaints increased by 118.4% in the last 5 years. At the same time, we can't ignore how several Indian courts have repeatedly underlined the misuse of SC/ST Act and how it's often used for financial gains. The bill would prove remarkable if it removes witness based proofs, given how false complaints don't have a punishment. Obviously, to push victims to file a complaint. So, instead of witnesses, an evidence only based system must be established. Let's clear it out. UGC has not changed in its basis when we compare the current bill to the 2012 draft. They both wanted to prevent discrimination. The second thing here is that, unlike in 2012, this bill extends the discrimination definition to even the institutional behavior, indirect discrimination, and multiple protected classes with the equity committees. Hence, it has more protection for the individuals. The grievance redressal in the UGC 2012 was mainly maintained by a university appointed anti discriminatory officer, which led to internal handling of these complaints without any strict or short timelines. However, with the 2026 model, there will be equal opportunity centers, equity committees, 24/7 online helpline portals, and even strict timelines to dispose the complaints. Further, the center will establish coordination between the civil society, local media, police, district administration, NGOs working in the field, faculty members, staff, and parents to check if the complaint is seriously taken. And in far extreme cases, there will be legal aid by the center. Now, this step was important as we saw several problems in the Arjikar Medical College case and hospital prior to the crime itself. Lastly, if the colleges do not mandatorily comply with these rules, they might lose the funding, reputation might be put at stake, and there will be enhanced monitoring. So now it is institutional's responsibility to actually take the crime seriously, which was not in the case of UGC 2012. Further, the committee will meet at least twice a year to discuss and review the actions taken on the matters received in the previous 6 months, making a safer space for students. However, the only problem I find in this bill is that rather than specifically mentioning caste based protection, the bill can be systematized with general discrimination applicable to everyone so that there is less confusion. And lastly, if only reporting of such incidents is done through any student, faculty member, or staff, then the matter must have an evidence form instead of just relying on the witnesses, which can backfire given the lying witnesses. The bill has been stayed by the Supreme Court, and we can only expect that the required updates will be made to the draft by the chief authorities.